I want to thank the Lord for another blessed and wonderful day. Giving a great shout out to the YouTube family. Hope everybody's doing well and may God bless you. The topic for today is knowing whom to trust, and that God does protects. God does protects, and God chooses who He uses, like Pop say. And I'm going to Joshua chapter 2, 3 through 9, 15 through 16, and 22 through 24. And 3 says, And the king of Jericho sent unto Rahab, saying, Bring forth the men that are come to thee, which are entered into thine house, for thou be come to search out all the country. Now, who is Rahab? We all know Rahab was the prostitute. And we are now talking about the city of Jericho. And we're going to learn how Rahab is going to help the Israelites, because Rahab is a Canaanite, and she really don't have no business really helping these spies that were sent by Joshua. And we all know that Joshua used to be a spy, so Joshua know all about the spying gang. So that's where we at right now. And 4 says, And the woman took the 2 men and hid them, and said thus, There came men unto me, but I wise not hid as thou wert. And 5 says, And it came to pass about the time of shutting of the gate, when it was dark, that the men went out. Whither the men went out, what not, pursue after them quickly, for ye shall overtake them. So we see how Rahab is helping these men, because Rahab wants to be protected. She wants her family to be okay. Now we can learn something from this. Now this is a prostitute. Now realize that this prostitute has faith in God. Wow. That's why God chooses who He uses. And verse 6 says, But she had brought them up to the roof of the house, and hid them with the stalks of flax, which she had laid in order upon the roof. Now we all know that on these houses back then, the roof was very flat. So the roof was used for several different things. And when you look at the roof, when she hired them on the roof, she is hiding them away because she don't want them to be seen. See, Rahab, once again, she is helping the Israelites. Her faith in God alone. See, a lot of times we don't look at this by the faith of most people in the Bible is what brought them through. And verse 7 says, And the men pursued after them the way to Jordan unto the fords. And as soon as they which pursued after them, they were gone out, they shut the gate. So in other words, so the men set out in pursuit of the spies on the road that leads to the fords of the Jordan. And as soon as the pursuers had gone out, the gate was shut. And 8 says, Before the spies lay down for the night, she went up on the roof. Now we see that Rahab has already hidden these spies. Now she goes on the roof. And verse 9 says, And said to them, I know that the Lord has given this land to you, and that a great fear of you has fallen on us, so that all who lived in this country are melted in fear because of you. See, even Rahab knows about how God don't play no games. So that's another reason why she want to get on the good side, because, like I say, she want her family and herself to be protected. And 15 says, So she let them down by a rope through the window, for the house she lived in was part of the city wall. And 16 says, Now she had said to them, Go to the hills, till the pursuers will not find you. Hide yourselves there 3 days until they return, and then go on your way. Now she's giving them a way out. 22 says, When they left, they went into the hills and stayed 3 days, just like Rahab told them to do, until the pursuers had searched all along the road and returned without finding them. And 23 says, Then the 2 men started back. They went down out of the hills, forded the river, and came to Joshua, son of Nun, and told him everything that had happened to them. And the final verse 24 says, And they said unto Joshua, Truly the Lord had delivered into our hands all the land, for even all the inhabitants of the country to faint because of us. And that's written in red, so we know that that's Christ, talking. So now we look at the whole lesson setting on this. We look at the beginning of this text. We see that Joshua and the people of Israel, they are near the promised land. However, though, the land involves defeating, the Jericho, the city of Jericho. And Joshua was sending these spies across the river to get the Israelites of, they evaluating the land to understand what's going on and everything. Now, we all know that like I was saying, Joshua used to be a spy. You know, Joshua knew about everything because Joshua was Moses' aide. And I believe another reason that's why God chose Joshua, because Joshua saw it all. And he was great. Joshua had no fear. So when we look at that, now the people of Israel faced challenges of taking this city of Jericho. But you know, when Joshua sent them spies to evaluate the city, the spies ran across Rahab, you know, who was the prostitute, like I was saying earlier. Now, due to Rahab's profession, you know, it wasn't nothing strange about strangers coming to her house because Rahab was a prostitute. But we see how Rahab hired them on the roof. So this is why I say, when you get to judging folks, you got to be very careful. Now, we see in this lesson that a prostitute, Rahab goes against her own. You know, see, she goes against, Rahab is considered a Canaanite. Now, we all know how Israel defeats the Canaanites. And if you've been keeping up with me, you know, with the story, we've been going through Joshua. And we learned how Joshua is a strong leader and he takes over. And may the Lord have a blessing to the readers, hearers, and doers of his holy word. See, God chooses who he uses. You heard Pop say this all the time. And we learned that even a prostitute can have faith in the Lord. And God honored that. And you notice that Joshua and the Israelites, they agreed on that. Because Rahab, you can keep reading on. And Rahab was, you know, granted that wish, really. She said, just take care of me. You know, don't forget about me and my family. And Joshua was a man of his word. They made sure that nothing happened to Rahab in this particular lesson. And we see that all the help, Rahab didn't have to help them like that. She helped those spies. And we can look in today's time, let's fast forward to our life. How many people are really helping? See, we too busy judging people in the world, but what we don't understand is that God loves people in the world also. And God will use them people in the world to get a point across. Because we learned in this lesson also that God protects. Just like we was learning in the last lesson, the promise will be fulfilled. God never changed his promise. See, the only thing happened in this situation is that they changed leaders because Moses died at 120 years old on the mountain. So Joshua took over, and Joshua was a great leader because Joshua, like I say, Joshua was a spy. Joshua was Moses' aide. So Joshua pretty much knows what to do. So I just wanted to just do this little lesson. This is actually going to be our Sunday school lesson for Sunday also, and how God, you know, protects us no matter what we're going through. And even when you look back earlier, the Israelites always was kind of fearful of a lot of things, because even when we got to the part of talking about those tall giants, when they saw those giants and they was complaining about how big those giants were. But what we learn is that God is with us all the way. All the way, no matter what we're going through. So I want to just do this little lesson. Hope y'all can learn a little something from this, as I learned a lot from it. No matter who you are, prostitute, homosexual, drug dealer, whoremonger, God can still use you. If you're looking at this video and you wind up seeing that a lot of people in the Bible changed, just like Saul when he was converted over to Paul. So whatever you are and whatever you're dealing with, you can still change and you can still go to work for the Lord. So God protects his. And we all know how bad and how much Israel sinned against God. So we still dealing with Israel. It's always about Israel, people, even in the beginning and at the end. That's why you don't go up against Israel. I wish folks would understand that that is God's chosen people. We can see that how God loved Israel and brought them through so much. So God bless everybody. May God bless you and may God keep you. And I pray that we all just get ready for his return, though no man know the day or the hour, but you need to stay ready. Love everybody. Peace and blessings to y'all. Take care.